Hey guys, welcome back to the Fit Life Over 40 channel. I'm Roosevelt, and today I'm going to take you guys through a shoulder and bicep workout. But first off, I got to say happy Juneteenth to everyone out there. I hope you're having a great day and enjoying this celebratory day, but we're still going to train biceps and shoulders. I'm excited. It's been a great day. We're in the parking lot getting our mind right before we go in and get this workout done. So I'll see you in there. Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for joining me on this shoulder and bicep workout. Looks like we're kicking it off with some side lateral raises. Now, when I train shoulders, I like to start with the side lateral head of my delt because I want to create as much width as possible. And for me, that's a lagging body part. So I like to start with the side lateral to ensure that I get plenty of effort and blood into the lateral head or the side delt. I pre-exhaust that first. So what I do is I started with 15 pounds. I went up to 15. I'm doing sets between 8 and 15 reps, pumping as much blood into my lateral head as possible. I'm using good form. I'm coming up, I'm contracting, I'm coming back down. I'm controlling the weight the entire time. Bodybuilding's not all about the weight. Yes, you have to get stronger. You either have to get stronger or you have to get more reps. Either way, you have to make progress. So I'm doing sets of 8 to 15 on the side of my delts. Back down to 20 pounds. I'm doing drop sets, pumping as much blood into my shoulders as possible. Hopefully I can get a growth response. Though at this point in my diet, that's unlikely because I'm in a calorie deficit. So I'm in the process of dropping some body fat. And basically right now I'm trying to maintain any muscle that I built during my bulking phase. The cut's going pretty well though. I'm down about 8 pounds, almost 9 pounds, and I haven't lost any strength, so that's a good thing. Looks like I moved over into the cable side lateral. Now there's a difference between the dumbbells and the cable. With the dumbbells is a little bit freer. It's a more free range of motion. You can use a lot more swinging and jerking, though I don't recommend. But with the cable, it's constant tension. You get tension on the contraction. You get tension on the eccentric. The positive and negative, there is tension the entire time. It allows me to really feel that lateral head working. So I like to use a mixture of cables and dumbbells when I am working on the lateral head of my delt. The form never changes though. I keep a slightly bent elbow. I come down until I feel my shoulder stretch. I come back up above parallel. I contract and back down, controlling the weight the entire time. I did 4 sets between 8 and 15 reps. I definitely like to keep the reps high when I'm using cables because I'm not using as much weight. So I'm really squeezing, I'm really feeling, I'm listening to what I'm working on talk to me. How does it feel? Is it contracting? Am I feeling any negative pains? Is it working? That's the purpose of the cable, guys. So throwing a mixture of both. And finally, for the lateral head, I like to do some more control movement. So I went over to a machine and really just contracted and felt every single rep. No wasted movement. But the same principle applies. Trying to keep the thumbs down, contract my shoulders at the top, squeeze, back down. I also like to keep the reps pretty high when I'm using machines, somewhere between 8 and 20 reps. I did 4 sets here of 8 to 20. Notice how I come down slowly. I come up and squeeze. Bodybuilding's all about contracting the muscles, guys. You have to use the muscle. If you're not using the muscle, then you're just moving weight. Then we got into the front of our delt. The front shoulder, we started off with, today we decided to do dumbbells. I throw in a mixture of the barbell. Sometimes I'll do a barbell standing. Sometimes I'll use the Smith machine seated. Sometimes I'll do a barbell seated. Today I decided to use dumbbells. I like to alternate every other time between the dumbbells and a bar or a Smith machine. I pyramided today. I started with 45 pounds and then I just kept going up, doing as many reps as I can. I don't think I did anything less than 10 reps on this day. Notice how I got my elbows tucked. I'm coming down with a slight pause, contracting, pushing all the way up, squeezing, and back down. You have to control the weight. Now, anytime you're using dumbbells, you especially have to be cautious because it's a free range. It's a free range of motion and a really good way to get hurt. So control the weight. It's not all about the weight. Control the weight you're using. So this time I went for a little PR, 70 pounds. I wanted 5 reps, so I got my friend Jenny here to give me a spot. Looks like I was able to get all 5 reps, which is pretty good considering my diet. When I'm not dieting, I can get those 70-pound dumbbells for sets of 8 to 10. Taking into consideration everything I did before that, I was still able to get that. So that was good. And then I finished with a drop set at 50 for as many reps as I possibly could. From there, I went into front raises seated with the dumbbells, still pumping as much blood into my front delt as possible. Trying to keep the pump, keep the blood in my shoulders. I'm coming up, contracting, back down, squeezing, feeling, connecting with my body. Making sure that I'm using the muscles so I can get the most benefit out of this exercise. Give it a try, guys. You'll be amazing. You will be amazed when you put your ego to the side and you really use the muscle. When you contract the muscle, you don't need to do 1,000,000 reps and 1,000,000 sets if you're doing things correctly. Then I went over into my rear delts. I only do so much pressing because I bench for my chest twice a week. So my front delts get plenty of pressing. So I'll do a couple exercises for the front delt and then I'll move on. Now I'm pumping blood into my rear delt, doing bent over rear delt flies with dumbbells. Sometimes I'll do this with the bar. Sometimes I'll do this on the Smith machine. Sometimes I'll use the pec deck fly. Today I use dumbbells. Then I went over into a wide grip bent over row for the rear delts. Now you'll see this being done a lot on a back day barbell rowing. A lot of it depends on where you grip the bar. If you grip the bar wide and turn your elbows out and pull until your elbows come to a T, you will get a lot of rear delts. Try not to pull past that because then you bring in the mid trap and the lats. So it's a control movement, pull to a T and squeeze. And then I was supersetting with a single arm bent over rear delt fly with the cable, pumping as much blood as possible. So I would hit the rear delts with a compound movement, and then I would go over to the cable and pump some more blood. I'm trying to put as much blood into my rear delt right now as I possibly can. I did 4 sets of that. The cables I kept around 15 reps, and the bent over row I did between 8 and 10. So like I said before, I like to keep any cable exercises that I'm doing, I like to keep the reps high because generally I'm not using as much weight, and I use it for an exhaustion measure by pumping blood. From there, I finished off the rear delts with some face pulls. I'm pulling high to my forehead and not to my face. And the reason why is because I feel that more in my rear delts. So I like to keep the reps high here, anywhere between 10 to 15 reps using the cable. I'm squeezing, I'm stretching, squeezing, stretching. For a lot of people, the rear delts can be hard to feel. My recommendation is to slow down, pull with your elbows, and feel the rear delt contract. It's bicep time. We finished up the shoulders, so we went over into some biceps. Now, I kicked it off with a easy bar reverse curl. I like to train the arms from the outside in. And the reason why is because if I'm standing or if I'm just relaxed, the outside head of the bicep is the bicep that you see when the arm is relaxed. So I want that to be as full as possible, and bring up the brachioradialis on the outside of the bicep along with the outside head of the bicep. And it's a part that's overlooked. You ever see guys that have big arms, but there's no separation between the outside bicep and the tricep? That's because they're not doing enough reverse curls, hammer curls. In my opinion, the reverse curl and the hammer curl are the most important ones. If you want the look of big arms when you're not in the gym. I did 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, and I was supersetting that with 1 arm dumbbell hammer curls, 1 arm at a time. The purpose of this is to put as much blood and get as much volume into my arms as fast as possible. I just finished a shoulder routine that had a lot of sets, a lot of reps. So my energy is starting to get pretty low. I'm in a calorie deficit. I trained shoulders pretty good, and the energy that I have left has to go into these biceps. So before I run out of gas, I want to put as much blood into my arms as possible. Looks like here I'm doing a drop set for my fourth and final set. Notice I'm controlling, I'm coming up, I'm lowering it, I'm controlling the weight, I'm squeezing at the top. The bicep is doing all the work. You don't see a bunch of swinging and jerking and using my lower back and hips to get the weight up. Controlled. Then to get some more strict movements in my outside of the bicep for the last exercise for the outside head, I went and found a bench to lean on to minimize any swinging. I want the arms, I want the bicep doing all the work. Of course, you can move a lot more weight if you're swinging and jerking, but what are you really getting out of that? Then you're not really using the load that you should be using. Pick a weight that you can control, feel the bicep work, and get stronger over time. That's how you make gains. I did 4 sets of this between 8 and 10 reps. I switched over to the single arm to just feel it, squeeze, pumping blood, trying to get stronger, working. You can see that I'm starting to run out of gas. I'm getting pretty tired here, but there's no excuses. It's either you did the work or you didn't. So we're gonna get the work done. This is the final set. And I will take this set to failure. You'll see at the end where that last rep, I really had to fight for it. But this is how you maintain your gains on a cut. It doesn't mean because you're dieting or you're dropping body fat that you should just start using light weights for high reps. You still have to continue to use the same weights or pretty close to the same weights that you were using when you built that muscle if you want to keep that muscle when you're dropping body fat. So keep that in mind. All right, looks like I did a drop set here for as many reps as possible. Taking that lateral head of my bicep to complete failure. Then I switched over into a palms up, which is for the inside head of the bicep. This part of the bicep, you see if you're flexing your arms or you're doing a front double bicep. And it's a part of the bicep that's overtrained in my opinion. It's the easier bicep head to grow, but it's the one that you don't really see unless you're walking around doing a front double bicep. And I don't know anyone who does that, but whatever. So, and I trained the inside of the bicep for years first. And over the last 6 months to a year, I switched over and started training the outside head first, and I've seen much better results in my bicep training. Also, using lighter weights, putting my ego to the side and using the muscle, minimizing any swinging and jerking, taking the biceps to complete failure. As you notice here, I pyramided up. I went up in weight that I was using every set, and then I came down and got a burnout set with the easy curl bar for as many reps as possible. Now I moved over back to leaning on that bench, doing unilateral bicep curls. This is to ensure that each arm gets to work independently. So you don't walk around with one bicep bigger than the other. It's very important to make sure that you're doing unilateral movements, whether it's for legs, triceps, biceps. Each limb needs to be able to work independently to minimize any muscle imbalances. So keep that in mind and work that into your training. This is the last set here, so I went to failure. As many reps as I possibly could get with good form. And to finish off the biceps, I went over into a more strict preacher curl, triceps on the bench, controlling the negative. I'm contracting and squeezing, pumping as much blood into my bicep as possible. Once again, that's the workout. I want to thank you for watching and give it a try. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you at the next one. Well, guys, that's the workout. Just finished shoulders and biceps. Did about 20 minutes of HIIT cardio on the Stairmaster, and that's why I got this jacket on and sweat vest. But overall, it was a pretty good workout. Lots of volume, lots of sets, lots of reps. Like I said before, I'm cutting, so my goal is to maintain as much muscle as I possibly can while I get the body fat off in a calorie deficit. So once again, I want to thank you guys for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at Harley Davidson or nothing. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Once again, I want to thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at the next video.